Hello, I'm Bo. Welcome to the Boss House. Here we are budgeting by paycheck for a blended family with separate finances. If that interests you, stick around. Today I'm going to start with my annual setup, I guess you would call it. I've never budgeted by paycheck before. This is my first time doing it. I got this idea from the Budget Mom at thebudgetmom.com, and I downloaded her printable budget book and a few of her free printables, and we're mixing and matching and seeing what works. I apologize if you hear a little extra noises. My cat just sniffed at the microphone, and he's going to be a little bit present, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. It's okay. So let's start with what the Budget Mom usually starts with as far as handling other people's budgets, because I figure it's a good way to start, right? So my personal story and my why. I am in Chicago, Illinois, in the US. I can't talk. In the USA. I am looking for my why is stability and security so that I can enjoy life while I save for the future and to reign in the chaos. I have a very chaotic life. I'm currently recording while my partner has his 3 kids away visiting family because there's literally not a single quiet moment in my home when they're here. It's kind of wild. It's hard to budget with a blended family, especially considering we're not married yet. Hopefully soon, right? But it's kind of tough, but I think I can do it. I think we can do it. But this channel is just going to be focused on my personal income and personal budget, not his, because he still has like his own stuff going on. Okay, so my personal story, now that I've rambled a little bit, I recently moved states. I moved from Minnesota to Illinois for love. I impulsively relocated without saving enough or selling my house. As a result, I racked up some credit card debt and couldn't get market price to rent my house. I make less money now and have more expenses. My partner is dealing with a custody battle, so we can't merge finances. I pay most of the expenses while he pays most of the bills. That has worked for us so far. I actually moved in February of this year of 2022. Well, technically January 31st, but it was at night. It's whatever. So it's been less than a year the way we've been doing it. It's working so far, except I found that I don't have enough money to really, well, at least it feels like I don't have enough money to actually reach my goals. So I'm going to try to crack down on that a little bit by budgeting by paycheck instead of by month and seeing where I can find money to reach my goals. So, moving on. This is actually a free printable from a different YouTube channel called The Money Guy Show. I really like them. They're accountants, and they have their own little 9 steps as their financial order of operations. 1 is deductibles covered, 2 is employer match, 3 high interest debt, 4 emergency reserves, 5 Roth and HSA, 6 max out retirement, 7 hyperaccumulation, 8 prepaid future expenses, and 9 is low interest debt. I like this far more than Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I briefly tried Dave Ramsey, and it was far too restrictive, and I wasn't able to like enjoy my life at all, and I can't imagine spending years and years of my life like that. which is how long it'll take me to get out of debt because I don't make a lot of money. So I decided to experiment a little bit, and I found these accountants, Money Guy Show, for the Money Guy Show, and I really like what they're doing. So for me personally, right now, I have enough for my deductibles, for my insurance deductibles. So I've done step one, right? I'm currently getting my employer match for my 401, well, not 401k, I have a 403b because I work for a nonprofit. So I have that step taken care of. And yeah, so I contribute enough to get the full employer match for that. And then now I'm actually trying to do steps 3 and 4 at the same time, which is not terribly efficient, but I know for a fact, like, I'm about to pay my car insurance deductible. So once that happens, like, I won't have step 1 done anymore. So I'm trying to do both of these at the same time so that I can keep this, if that makes sense. And then once these are taken care of, then I'll move on, to step 5. I don't know if I'll ever get to this point because as I said, I don't make a lot of money. But we're going to try. Oh, and there's my cat. Hi, Cerbs. His name is Cerberus. He is the love of my life, but sometimes he's a little nosy. So, moving on. So that was the order of how I'm going to live my life financially. Here is my current debt picture. Now, you will see that here this is not actually in order of priorities. The reason why is because the top 3 are actually not my debts. They're my partner's debts that I decided to take on because he needs more stability in his finances than I do at the moment. So I took on those debts for him because I have the experience budgeting, and I can pay these off faster than he can. So I decided to do that. So we have the first priority is his Chase credit card. The starting balance for that is $53.89 and 59 cents. Interest rate, which has not started yet, it's going to start in March, will be 27.49%, which is really not great. Minimum payment for that is $53 a month. And then the next debt, which I put as priority 3, is TSI. I don't actually know what that stands for, but it's a smaller debt. Starting balance is $742 and 63 cents. There is no interest on this, but the minimum payment is $50. Then my next priority, number 4, is SNA. That is short for Snyder and Associates. Total for that starting balance is $26.50 with no cents. No interest on this one again. Minimum payment for it is $50 a month. And then what I put as my second priority is actually my first debt. So this is a Capital One credit card. Starting balance is $86.97 and 41 cents, which is very high for a credit card. I realize that. All of this has been accumulated since I moved in February. So this is me not saving enough money to move, is what this is. The interest rate on this is extremely low at 4%. I still want to pay it down. I'm still counting it in the high interest debt range just because it's a credit card debt, and on the credit report it doesn't look very good to have a high debt ratio for the total. So like the total available, like the total credit limit on this is actually $10,000. So this is very high for this credit card, but it is a low interest rate, so I'm not like super stressed about paying it off. Basically, what I'm probably going to do is get it down to like 30% of its total total limit, and then like reassess what's going on. But anyway, the interest rate for that's 4%, and minimum payment is $125 a month. Now, this is not actually the minimum payment, but this is what I'm calling the minimum payment because this was actually what the minimum payment was when I started paying this down. So I had actually maxed this card out and then paid it down a little bit, and this was the minimum payment at that time. So I'm just going to keep treating that as the minimum payment until it comes time to actually, pay it off, and then we will reassess. And then this is priority 5 for me. Great Lakes, this is my student loan. Starting balance is $48.26.79. Interest rate on this is 6%, even though, of course, it's not accumulating interest right now because it's not currently in repayment because of the whole, schmovid situation. Minimum payment on this, once it does go back into repayment, should be $64. I might put this on income-based repayment at some point. I'm not quite sure. It depends on how this year goes and if this will be forgiven, because I did get approved for the student loan forgiveness thing, but of course they haven't pushed that through yet. So if it does get forgiven, then I don't have to worry about it, which is why I put it as priority 5. If it doesn't get forgiven, then I'll like reassess once it goes into repayment, is basically how that's going to go. And of course, none of these are paid off. I had more credit cards last year and the year before. I still have them. I didn't close the accounts, but those credit cards I pay off every month, so there is no minimum payment, and I didn't think it was necessary to put them in here. So that is my overall debt picture. I will be paying them off in this order. Of course, first priority is this high interest rate because that is going to cost the most in the long run. But that's it. So for my financial plan, which is really my long-term goals. Well, short and long-term goals. For my short-term goals, which are within 1 year, I want to pay for Christmas decorations and the meal for $500. Target date is December 1st of 2023. My boyfriend, my partner, however you want to call it, when he and his ex separated, he didn't take anything with him, like nothing. So, except he had one bag. So he came into our relationship with nothing. And so we don't have any, and I personally didn't celebrate Christmas or like any other major holidays because I didn't have a family. So it seemed kind of silly to like decorate my whole house and like get a tree and all this other stuff when it was just me. So I never did all that. But since we have kids in the house now, I think it's really important for us to have like decorations and have a nice like family dinner on Christmas, or at least when we have them, because they have shared custody, so it's a whole thing. Um, but I do want to have things set up nice for next Christmas. I think it'd be great. This year, we just had like stockings, and of course the kids had presents and everything, but we didn't really have any decorations because we're still kind of like in the struggle mode financially. But next year I really want to save up for all of those Christmassy things. So I want to save at least 500 for that. I want to add $1,000 to my emergency fund, uh, which of course is going to cost me $1,000. I want to do that just, throughout the year because, as I said, I am going to have to pay an insurance deductible in January. So like it's kind of important to replace that deductible plus have another 500. That's really what I want to do. So total of that would be $1,000. And then I also want to add 1,300 to my house savings. Now, this $1,300 that I want to have by the end of the year, this is not actually coming from my personal income. This is coming from my self-employment income, which is budgeted separately. I budget it completely separately so that I don't get confused on like self-employment tax and having everything set up properly. I don't want to mix up those monies and not be able to reach those goals because the getting my house like fixed up so I can sell it eventually, like it's really important, and like having money for maintenance and stuff like is super important. So sorry about that. Cat rubbed his face on the microphone again. Hopefully it didn't make too much noise. So yeah, this is really important, but it's not coming out of my personal finances. It's coming out of self-employment income. So that's $1,300. And then moving on to medium-term goals, which are within 5 years. All of these are actually basically within 3 years. I want to sell my house, which I estimate the cost to be $7,000. Of course, this is not the full cost of selling a house. This is the cost of maintenance / upgrades that I want to do before I put the house on the market. Everything else will come out of the actual sale cost, if that makes sense. I want to pay off my partner's Chase credit card, which will, by the time I pay it off, will probably be like $8,000 because interest is whack. I'm not actually sure how much it'll be, but I'm estimating $8,000 by the time it's paid off. And I'd like to pay that off by December of 2024. Then I want to buy a Prius. I currently have a minivan, which is terrible on gas, and it's roomy, which is great, but it's also like 9 years old and it's coming up on 10 years and it's like it's got some problems. I just don't want to take too many risks with that, but mainly it's the gas. So I really want to buy a Prius with 20% down. I'm estimating that to be about $8,000 depending on which package I end up getting, or I'd prefer to get it certified pre-owned, but the used car market right now is insane. So we'll see how that works out. But my goal is to save $8,000 for it. And then I want to do that by June of 2025. I do want to get married, like desperately. I don't know exactly when that's going to be, but I'm estimating saving up like $2,000 for it. I don't want a big wedding like at all. pushing 40. I'm not really, this will be my second marriage. I'm not really interested in having a big wedding. I don't even have a lot of people to invite to it, so that seems a little silly. I'm not going to do like the fancy white dress or anything like that, but I do want to have like my close family and friends there and have a decent little wedding. I think it'd be nice. So I want to save up at least $2,000 for that, and I want to do that by the end of 2025. I'll probably end up saving more than this, but if I don't spend everything, then I'll just apply it to another goal. So it's not like a huge deal. But I do want to have a cute little wedding with maybe like a cookout or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then long-term goals within 10 to 15 years. I want to fully fund my emergency fund, which is I want $13. Good grief, I can't talk. I want $13,000 saved for that total. And I'd like to do that by 2030. I want to start saving 25% of my income, which when I say 25%, I don't mean for like these short-term goals, like not counting that. I want to save 25% either for like long-term goals or investing. And based on my current income, that would be $7,000 a year. I'd like to save that by 2031. January of 2031. And then I would also like to buy a house with 20% down. And I would like to do that, which I estimate to probably be $60,000 for the down payment. And I'd like to do that by 2032. So these are really big goals. And I don't know how I could possibly meet them without making more money. But I don't know. I have hope. When I get this Prius, I know I can make it last like at least like 10 years. Like it's like we can do this. It'll be okay. These will be like stretch goals kind of, but yeah, especially this, because 60,000 saved. I've never had that much money in my life. I've never made that much in a year. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I have hope. Okay, so for my yearly savings, I did not decide to go with all 8 of these goals because I honestly don't think I really make enough money right now to have more of the financial plan goals in here. I haven't found that money in my budget yet. So I'm going to start with these, and then if I can add more of the longer term goals in here later on, I will. But these are my main priorities right now, other than, of course, paying down my debt and my partner's debt. So I want the Christmas decorations and meal, which is $500 for the year minimum. So that comes out to about $45 a month. And again, due date is December, the beginning of December. Add $1,000 to my emergency fund, of course, $1,000, which comes out to $83 a month, which I'm not even sure I have that much left in my budget. So we will see how that goes. but I want to do that by the end of December. I want to add $1,300 to my house fund. So $1,300, which is $108 per month. And again, this is not going to come out of my personal income. This is going to come out of my self-employment income. I want to do that by December 31st, so the end of the year. Annual subscriptions / bills come out to $408.94 for the year, and the monthly amount for that will be $35. So technically, I believe it was $34.08, but I'm just rounding that up because it's easier for me to budget whole numbers, and then like whatever's left over, we can make it work, you know? I want to do that by the end of the year. So that's it for the yearly savings, my annual savings. So this is the yearly savings tracker. I left all of this blank so far because, of course, you know, it's January, February, March, you know, all the way down the year. And I'm starting with, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm starting with, which is why I put these, I left these blank. I will fill these out probably the first paycheck of January. I just didn't want to put anything in here yet because I have money. How do I explain this? I have some money that hasn't been allocated yet, but I haven't decided yet how I'm going to allocate it. So we're going to basically start from scratch, but we'll see how it goes. I might allocate something from my checking account in here, but I haven't yet. So, oops, sorry, I bumped the cord for my phone. So anyway, next is memberships and subscriptions. I really just call them all subscriptions. It's whatever. So I have this here is, I kind of mixed them. They're not all together the way they should be, because I have Spotify at the bottom, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Next year I'll try to put them in order because it makes more sense that way. I just wanted to get it done. So we're dealing with it out of order, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's my first time. Okay, so on the 1st of every month, I have YouTube Premium, which I have the family plan, which is $22.99, but $23.11 with tax. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and ads just, I can't. And I really like being able to keep it going while my phone's in my pocket or whatever. So, yeah, so I pay for that, just $23.11 a month. I have a car wash membership, because I drive Lyft. So that is due the 23rd of every month, and that's $17.99. I have membership or subscription to the Ring doorbell, so I can save videos and everything. That's $40 a year, or $334 a month, and that isn't due until November. LastPass, which is a password manager that I like because I can't rely on myself to memorize passwords, and it's just, to me at least, it seems safer. So I have a subscription to LastPass. That's $48 a year, which comes out to $4 a month, and that's due in March. So that's the first one, the first annual one that I have due. I also subscribe to Just Dance Unlimited, The game itself, I have it on the Switch. The game does not come with very many songs, and I don't know, I like dancing to more music. It's fun. It's exercise. It brings me joy. That's due in August. Total is $26.96, which comes out to $225 a month. For the amount of happiness it brings me, totally worth it. Then I also have a subscription to Toady. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is actually an app that keeps you on track for cleaning. I am not the cleanest person, I guess. I don't really clean regularly on my own, except for, like, you know, floors, surfaces, dishes, bathroom, you know, like that kind of stuff. But it's hard for me to remember, like, how often I should be cleaning the curtains, or like dusting ceiling fans, or like dusting electronics, like that kind of stuff, like cleaning out the garage, stuff like that. So I really like having the reminders, and it also tells you, like, when the last time you did something was, like when the last time you, like, vacuumed the furniture, or the last time you reorganized your bookcase or polished your shoes, like that kind of stuff. Like, I really like being able to stay on track that way. But that's $4.99 a year, which, you know, it's not exactly a lot, which comes out to 42 cents a month. And then I also have Amazon Prime, which isn't due till April. There are some things that it's way easier for me to order online. I gotta. And also, I like Amazon Prime Video. There's some good options on there. That's $139 a year, which is $11.58 a month. And then I also have my Costco membership. I go for Costco Executive because that gives you cash back on Costco purchases and on gas. That's not due until October. It's $120 a year. I think the CEO actually said that they're going to increase the rate, so this might go up. I'm not sure how much it'll be next year. Next year being 2023, but it's been $120 a year. So that's what I'm going to budget for, and we'll see what happens. But that is $12 a month. And believe me, especially driving Lyft, the amount of cash back that I get every year is always more than this. So it's 100% worth it for me to get this. Like, this membership pays for itself. I essentially do not pay for my Costco membership. This is not going to be for everyone. I actually, like, did the math before I signed up for it because I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth it with the amount that it costs. But I also have a Costco credit card that I pay off every month. And that also gives me cash back at Costco. So, like, between the two of them, 100% pays for itself. And then I also have Google One membership, or subscription, however you want to call it. That's due in August. And that is for storage and, like, photo backup, all that good stuff. I have the family plan, which is $30 a month, which comes out to, oh my goodness, I can't get it together, bro. Okay, so the annual cost for Google One, for family plan, for the version that I have, I can't even remember how many gigabytes it is, but anyway, it's $29.99, which comes out to $2.50 a month. Totally worth it to me to have that amount of storage, because especially like being able to take things like from my files on my phone to my computer and all that stuff. Like it helps me a lot. It's very useful to me. And then the last thing I pay for, which is on the 24th of every month, is Spotify. I tried, like, I really, really, really tried to just use Amazon Prime Music, and I even tried YouTube Music, and they don't have the songs. They don't have the songs that I want to listen to all the time, but Spotify always does. So I do pay $10.89 for that. I could technically use the free version, except when I drive Lyft. What I do is I have my iPod plugged into my car, and it's an old iPod. It doesn't even, like, the battery drains super fast unless you keep it plugged in. But with Spotify, the paid version, you can download playlists and play it offline. So I have my iPod plugged into my car, and I run playlists while I'm driving Lyft, and then I have a Bluetooth in my ear so I can hear the GPS through my phone. I tried having the GPS and the music coming from just my phone and just plugging the phone into the car, but it doesn't, you can't really change the volume, and with passengers being really loud, it makes it very hard to hear the GPS, which is super important to me because, I want to get them where they're going. So to me, this is 100% worth $10.89 a month. So the total, I can't tell if you can boot. Is that focused? Okay. Oh, no. Refocused? Sorry, technical difficulties. Can you see that clearly? No? We're focusing. Well, in any case, so the cash flow, which is the ones that are due every month, that comes out to $623.88 a year and $51.99 a month. And then the sinking, which is things I'm going to save up throughout the year, the things that are due only annually, that comes out to $408.94 a year, which is $34.08 a month. And then the total for that is, all of these put together, is $10.32.82 a year and $86.07 a month, which kind of feels like a lot for subscriptions, but I don't know. I don't actually have a lot of subscriptions. At least it doesn't feel like it. I have Netflix, but T-Mobile, my cell phone provider, pays for that, and I don't know. I don't think it's a lot of subscriptions, but seeing the annual amount that's kind of wild to me. I didn't think it was going to be that much. But yeah, that's it for that. And then this is my annual bill tracker for this year. I'm actually changing banks. Currently, I'm in the middle of changing banks. So the payment method, I'm going to leave blank until after it's changed. So I'm kind of splitting things between two banks at the moment, and things are a little complicated. But for each payment, like after it comes out of my bank account, I'm going to change the payment method to my new bank. And there are some things that I actually pay with my credit card, but I'm still not going to change those until like everything's settled with the new bank. We're just going to do one at a time, and I'm not going to stress too much about it. But this is basically just like a checkbox type of thing where you have, the due date, just the actual expense name, amount due, payment method, and then whether or not it's on auto pay. So far, I have set up these two. These are the only two I've set up so far with my new bank, which is Verve, a credit union. I really like them because they allow you to have savings buckets or savings goals, which is basically like splitting up your savings account into multiple virtual accounts. I don't know if there's a limit on how many goals you can have, but I just set it up and I really like it so far. I haven't changed over all my payments yet because I still have money in my previous bank, and I don't really want to like deal with making a big transfer of everything and then possibly forgetting a bill and then like not having things match up correctly. So I'm just going to do one thing at a time for that. So these are all of my regular like monthly bills. Of course, I've got my car insurance due on the 25th, $233. It's actually like $232.36 or something like that. But I round everything up just because change complicates things, and I don't feel like dealing with it. At least not for the budget. Like once I get to the actual expense tracking, then I'll include the change. But until then, I'll just round up. Also, car insurance is probably going to go up because I do have that deductible that I'm paying in January. And, they say that they don't really, raise your rates every time you have an accident, but I don't really trust that. So this might go up, which is why I used an erasable pen for this. But that's due on the 25th. Renter's insurance, that is $20, due on the 24th. My phone bill, this is for me and my partner because I could get it cheaper than he could because I'm a military veteran. But that's $80 for unlimited everything for two people, and that is due on the 16th. Great Lakes, which is, again, my student loan, at $64. I didn't put a due date here because, again, it's not a repayment, so I'm not currently concerned about this. It's also not accruing interest. Then Capital One, which is technically this is the actual minimum payment, which is $117. I'm paying $125 a month though, and I'm treating that like my minimum payment, but this is the actual minimum payment. And that's due on the 7th. YouTube Premium is $23, due on the 1st. My car wash subscription is $18, due on the 23rd. Spotify is $11, due on the 24th. TSI, which is my partner's debt, $50 due on or around the 18th. Chase, my partner's credit card, $53 due on the 22nd, or that's when I pay it anyway. It's actually due after that, but it takes a while for the bill pay because I'm doing it from my checking account, and it takes a while for the bill pay to reach the other bank. So because I don't actually have access to this credit card, so I can't just have the the auto pay like come out of my account. And this way, using bill pay through my bank, then I can control how much I send to them every month. Otherwise, I'd have to like get my partner to set it up every time I wanted to pay something extra, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So I did it with bill pay, and I pay on the 22nd so that it actually reaches on the due date, before the due date. And then SNA, I didn't put the due date for this. I don't know if I know that. Do I know that? I don't know what the due date is for that. I'm gonna have to ask. But that's $50 a month. And that is not set up with my new bank yet, but I'm gonna do that. I promise. Okay. And then I separated my monthly from my annual. So these are my annual ones. Ring, $40 due in November. LastPass 48 due in March. Yada 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 yada. Just like on the previous page. I wanted to separate the annual ones just so that I don't like check it every month. As a matter of fact, now that I see this, let's highlight which month these are actually due. So Ring is due in November. Okay. LastPass is due in March. February, March. Just Dance is due in August. Toady is due in July. Amazon is due in April. Costco's due in October. And Google One is due in August. Okay. So, and I really like these Sharpie highlighters. They've got the little window in them. I think they're super cool. I got a little 6-pack of them. I thought about getting the whole like big colorful pack, but it cost too much. I couldn't justify it, and a lot of the colors looked kind of similar. I didn't feel like dealing with it. So these are my annuals and my monthlies. And then I just, check it off when it's paid. I think yeah. I hope this will help. I've never done this kind of bill tracker before, so we'll see how this goes. But I'll try to check things off as they get paid. We'll see how reliable I am on that one. But that is my bill tracker, all set up now, except for the payment method. Okay, so next page is my budget category organizer. I have this set up because there are some things that I pay, how do I put this? Like I'm not spending the same things on the same categories every month, like throughout the year. And I would have a lot of categories if I separated every single thing. So what I did was, for these main categories, which is essentially 12 expense categories, and then I have some savings categories. which end up being like the money gets transferred out of these into the 12 expense categories. So it's really just 12, right? So I want to, like, over the year, when I do the annual overview, I want to put everything that's in these little individual categories. I want to put them in the 12 big ones so that I have more of an overview of what I spent throughout the year. So it would be exhausting, and this video is already 50 minutes. I've been recording for 50 minutes. Oh my goodness. So this is already like way too long of a video, but I'm not gonna read each individual little category, but my main budget categories are car bills, car expenses, hustle, which is actually like, these things are like, it's self-employment, but I put all those in the same category. Extra debt, which is not really, there are no subcategories for that, because it's just going to go to whichever debt is the highest priority at the moment. Debt minimum, which is, clearly student loans, car loan. I don't have a car loan, but my partner does. Credit card minimum. Food, which includes groceries and dining out. Home bills, renter's insurance, electric, gas, all that jazz. Home expenses, which are, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then house is for my actual house that's in Minnesota. So that's bills, improvement, and maintenance. Healthcare includes everything, prescriptions, insurance, but I don't, like, all these things don't happen every month. So it felt like I'd have too many categories if I treated that like these are all separate categories in my overview for the year, if that makes sense. These are all the kid categories. I'm not actually spending any money in these categories. This is only my partner because, custody issues and all that. And then personal is gifts, pocket money, or miscellaneous, impulse buys, whatever you want to call it. Clothing, membership, subscriptions, travel, activities, holidays. And then I have my personal emergency fund. My partner is going to have his. We haven't started working on that yet. And house fund clearly makes sense. Hustle fund clearly makes sense. And then I'm going to have investments eventually. Again, I have some investments, but I'm going to start contributing again at some point soon, hopefully. And then I have play fund and work fund. So I actually do I kind of prioritize my budget into three main categories, because I think the focus of budgeting should be making your money do what you want it to do. So my three overall priority categories are work. So whatever categories or whatever spending is going to work for me and make my life function, that's work. Second priority is play, and that's all the things that help me enjoy life. So they're not mandatory. They're just things that are nice. And then grow is my final priority. That is all the categories in which I will have more money next year than this year. So that is contributing to my emergency fund, investments, saving up for a house, all that kind of stuff. Having more net worth next year than this year is grow. So I actually kind of put what overall categories these are with these individual letters in the corners. So car bills are work, car expenses are work. Hustle is grow because hustling makes me have more money next year than this year. Uh, Extra to debt is grow because it's growing my net worth. Debt minimum is work because it's necessary. It's a requirement. It makes life function because I gotta have decent credit. Food is work. Home bills work. Home expenses work. House, anything for the house is grow because it's growing my net worth because that's what houses do. Healthcare is work. Kids, that's all mixed. Personal, this is all play. None of these are requirements. None of these are necessary. These are all things to enjoy my life. If I had to cancel all of my subscriptions, I would survive. Nothing bad would happen. So I consider these all personal and all play. And then this B is actually for Bo. So this is me. And then this W is not work. This is my partner. And we're not naming him because he's separate. Everything's separate. I just have this overview. I include his stuff and I include my self-employment stuff because we're both using this for everything. So technically we have 3 separate budgets. I have my personal income budget, I have my self-employment budget, and then he has his own budget. And this budget category organizer we use for all 3 budgets. So that's why there's things on here that I don't actually spend money on out of my personal income. But that is, I guess that's it for the overarching setup for my budget. But then we come to the exciting stuff, which is my savings challenges for the year. So this savings challenge is how I'm going to pay for Christmas. This is actually a penny savings challenge, but I set it for the weeks because I don't have a lot of change. It's mostly just from grocery shopping and like my impulse buys that I really have change. So I'm just gonna do this every week, and then I'll figure out what I have left over. And I'm not gonna do these in order, but I'm gonna try to do it as stable as possible. So more than likely, what I'm gonna end up doing is going from the outside and working my way in, just so that I'm saving like roughly the same amount every month. This is the guide for saving weekly. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to check off the box for whichever week it is. And I'm going to write down the amount on this side so that I can actually track like the full balance in the order that I take it in, because I'm not going in this order, and this total amount is based on going in order. So to make it easier for me to know like how I'm doing and how I'm coming along, I'm gonna write down the amount on here and then the total balance so far on this page. And these are all like all the savings challenges that I have. These are all like free printables that I found online. So that's that. And then this savings challenge is how I'm going to put the $1,000 in my emergency fund. So this is 52 boxes, and again, I'm not going to go in order. I'm just going to do what I can and hopefully get these all filled in by the end of the year. But yeah, because again, I don't make a lot of money. We're gonna have to see how things stand every month. I don't know how this is gonna go, but this is my goal, and I'm gonna try to work it out. The biggest weekly amount is $60, I believe. I don't know that I'll ever have $60 left over at the end of a week, but I'm gonna try my darndest to make this happen. I think most of the smaller amounts, of course, are reasonable. It's just, I don't know. This is a stretch for me. It's gonna be tough. And then we have the house goal. This is actually, I want to do, this has 100 spaces, and I want to make every space $50. The total that I need, is actually going to be 5,000, like overall, 5,000 additional saved to get to my 7,000 goal. But I don't, so each of these spaces is going to be $50. This is not going to be filled in completely by the end of the year because I can't save 5,000 in a year. I don't make enough money. So this is going to take me a few years to do, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fill in for every $50. I'm going to fill in one of these boxes with handy dandy colored pencils because I'm excited for it. But yeah, it's gonna take a few years. And then this is how I'm going to start this out. So my goal for this year was to add $1,300 to my house savings. And this is a 52-week money saving challenge. I got this online, free printable from the Budget Mom. And again, I want to try to save like a reasonable amount, and this gets very tough by the end with the 51 and 52 in a week. Like that's going to be real hard for me. So again, I'm going to try to go in my own order, probably from the outside, working my way in. And I will, now that I think about it, I should probably print another one of these. I should print another one of these for the house savings so that I can keep track of the balance. I will try to do that tomorrow. Or today, maybe after this. But yeah, this is the 52-week Money 7 challenge. So every day is $1 more. And not every day, every week is $1 more. And it should be $13.78 by the end. So hopefully I can manage this. If I work, sorry, I yawned. If I work from the outside in, that will come out to $53 every 2 weeks. And I think that's doable. And of course, this will be coming out of my self-employment income. So this will be a separate budget from my normal budget. But again, I'm keeping both my personal income budget and my self-employment income budget. I'm keeping them all in this binder. So it makes sense to keep it with my other savings challenges. And it'll just be for my monthly check-ins because I do self-employment. I do that monthly because it varies so much with driving Lyft. So I budget that monthly, and I will do for my monthly overviews. I'll check on this too. And I think that's it. I think that's it for my annual setup. Oh, that's wild. Okay. Well, this video is over an hour now. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for coming over to the Boss House. You've been amazing. I hope that you got something out of this setup. It's a little different from the way other budgeters I've seen on YouTube work and do their budgets, but I think that's where hopefully we can find a community, because I've never done this before. This is a whole adventure for me. I've never had a blended family before, obviously. I am struggling. Kids are wild. They eat a lot. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I think that it would be great if you stuck around and maybe gave me some pointers and some ideas. Put those in the comments. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day on purpose. Bye!